Hello everyone, this is the Retro Guy, and today we are going to talk about adding a SCART connector to a 1084S RGB monitor. So this is the 1084SP option or variant of this monitor, which essentially means that it was made by Philips, or Philips sourced some of the options. I don't know if the board or the actual CRT tube, whatever is the case. So this is the Philips variant, right? So on the back, basically those are the connectors that you have. So you have basically like composite options, stereo audio in, and you have two RGB options. One, there is a digital TTL, and the other that is analog. So it's a great monitor, and it works with a variety of computers and consoles. The problem really is the connector here, because it's every time you need to connect something to it, you need to assemble a cable, right? So it's not really great. So for instance, I'm using right now an MSX with this particular monitor here, and I had to assemble the cable for it. There is an option for a breakout SCART cable that you can connect here, and then SCART, female SCART on the other end, and then you can use that to connect to other consoles, computers, and such, which I think is a great option. I don't have it, so I can't say whether or not it works in terms of the quality and things like that. But the thing is, this monitor actually has a built-in option for a SCART connector, which is basically this area here. So the pins are already there, and the modifications required by the board to accept this new SCART connection here are actually minimal. So it's not a lot actually to be done so that you can get this up and running. And this adds an infinity of options straight out of the box to this amazing monitor. So I'm going to be doing that and following instructions that I saw on the internet. So I know it works because a lot of people has done it already, and it does work, right? I just have to follow the instructions and it should be just fine. The modifications to the board are minimal. So adding, for example, like a couple of resistors and one capacitor, and changing a few components to a different place, and then some other minor changes that are required for this to work, but very easy to be done, even if you're not an electronic expert or anything like that. Okay. What else? The board itself is fairly dirty, as you can see here. So it's a lot of dust. This board has never been cleaned. With this monitor here for like a number of years now, I never opened it. I never actually cleaned it, because it was working as soon as I got it, and I didn't really care. But now is a good time to give it a proper clean. I'm not going to be doing any recapping or anything like that. Everything is working fine the way it is, so I'm not going to touch any of the capacitors or anything like that, even though yes, it's advised to do so, blah blah blah, but it is working as it is right now. Maybe in the future, if things started to, you know, like misbehaving or something like that, then I will go back to this and eventually do a proper work in terms of recapping it and things like that. For now, it's working great. Since I have everything already disassembled, I will also take the time to repaint the monitor case. Yes, repaint, as I don't know if everybody knows that, but those Commodore monitors, this is the 1084, I don't know others, but the 1084 for sure, they are actually painted. This color that you see, this is not raw plastic color, right? This is painted. That's why they never get yellow, by the way. But if the paint starting to peel, like it's happening here, you can see the plastic underneath, and you can see that this one in particular is quite yellow, right? So it's happening all over the place. If you have a look here, right, and in here as well. So it's all over the place, like it's not in a great shape, this particular case here. So I'm going to be repainting and refinishing it here as well on the back. You see, so it's not like a lot, but and it doesn't really bother me that much, but it's something that I always wanted to try and see how it will look in the end. So here as well, as you guys can see, I have removed the power button as well, so that will be treated or dealt with separately. But I want to aim for basically the bezel, specifically the front bezel or the front part of the case. I have a challenge here, which is the inner bezel, which is like darker gray, as you guys can see. The problem with the inner bezel is that this is a single piece of plastic. You cannot remove it. It's the way it is. I have no idea how this has been painted, to be honest. It is painted as well. You can see it here, for example, right? This is the paint that is starting to peel off on this particular portion of the bezel. So yeah, it's again all over the place. You have like some minor problems with the paint, right? It's not again too much, but it is there. I could just repaint it. The thing is, because there is the inside portion here, there is quite inaccessible. It's very difficult to get access to it so it can be painted decently. So one option that I have is just mask out the gray bezel here and just paint everything else. So it will still have those small blemishes here, but I don't care. I'm okay with that eventually. Or I could just paint everything the same color, like this beige that is outside here. So I do have the paint for it. I have used it before. It's very, very close to the original paint color or shade. So I'm just going for it. I don't know if I'm going to be painting everything, because you see that inside here, right? This part, it's quite bad as well. I don't know what happened here, but yeah, the paint is basically, so I'm very inclined to paint everything in beige, just for the fun of it. Right, I do have like a much darker gray that I could use, but yeah, it's not going to look great, I think. So I'm just going to go for beige everything. And then here is the back, just to show you that you do have already the SCART option here, right? It's just a matter of adding the connector, making a few changes to the board, and off you go. So this particular monitor is dated from '87, from what I could see from internal stickers that are on the CRT. And yeah, it's amazing that this monitor is really like a tank. It's running perfectly well, like the image is really clear, and I don't have any major issues with it. Even the power button is still the original one. I didn't have any of those flaws that a lot of people complain, that eventually the power button doesn't stick to place anymore in the on position. I didn't have this issue. Okay, not saying I will never have it, but for now, you know, knock on wood, everything seems to be perfect with this monitor. So it's a very nice monitor, very nice piece of retro technology, and that's why everybody's looking for one of those nowadays. Very difficult to find. When you find one, probably it's not going to be in great condition. If you find one in great condition, it's going to cost you like way more than probably a Sony PVM or something like that. So, well, not way more, but it's going to be in the same level, right? So around like maybe 300, 400 euros or something like that for a good quality 1084S monitor. That's basically where I am right now. So I'm going to focus on cleaning the case for now, then refinishing and repainting everything, and then I will show you the final result. Okay. That's basically it. I'm not sure, to be honest, if I'm going to be repainting the back of the case. I might just, you know, go and do some retouches where it's needed, so I don't risk, for example, like damaging the stickers or anything like that. I can't remove those. It's really difficult without damaging them. I just want to keep it original. As I said, the paint should be matching the color very closely, so hopefully it's not gonna be a big difference if I don't paint the back and only paint the front. But I will see that later. Okay, so hopefully I will not ruin everything by doing this job. I tried to find on the internet any other people that have done this on in the past. Couldn't find any videos, so I don't think a lot of people actually have done it. So I have to be honest, a little bit scared of damaging the monitor. I'm not like a professional painter or anything like that, but I'm willing to try, and then we'll see. It's not going to damage the monitor itself. The monitor is still going to be fully functional and everything. It's just that it might not look as great if I don't do a very good job. So I'm tempted, very tempted to try the paint in an area that doesn't show that much first, so I could at least see how close it matches the actual paint and how it will look as a final result as well. So I might be doing that before I actually go and paint everything, right? So maybe something on the back here, maybe a small area on the back, like maybe this area here, or maybe on the underside here, maybe this area here, right? So this might be as well like a good area to test the paint. Yeah, I will do something like that and then I will report back. Okay, so for now, this is where I am. Just disassembled everything. I have done this like a number of times with different vendors, like not specifically with the 1084S, but I have disassembled like a number of different CRT TVs and monitors in the past for, restoring them, cleaning them, and so on and so forth. So this one wasn't particularly challenging to disassemble. It was actually quite easy, like the Apple ones, for example, the RGB monitors from Apple, those are quite challenging to disassemble. Like this one, very straightforward. Like if you are going to go in that direction, I suggest you take pictures, right? Before you start disassembling and disconnecting cables, just take like a lot of pictures from different angles so you can see where things are actually connected, so you don't risk either misconnecting something, which is quite difficult because of the connectors themselves, but still, or forgetting to connect something. I have done that in the past, reassemble another monitor, forgot to connect, I think the yoke cable or something. I don't remember which cable was it, but it was an important one, and luckily nothing too bad happened. Right. Another thing that I suggest if you're going to be working with CRTs, of course, like safety first, always discharge the CRT. I'm not going to show you how to do that. This is something that is extensive material on the internet. Okay, always do that because the voltages are quite high. The other thing that I really suggest you guys take care of is when manipulating the tube, right? It's a vacuum tube, so, and it's glass. Be very careful. I have in the past like damaged two CRT tubes when disconnecting the neck board because it was glued, and even though I cut the glue, it was really hard to pull it. When I was doing that, like trying to move it a little bit, it broke the very tip of the tube, and of course if that happens, then the vacuum is gone and that tube now is basically useless. So depending on the monitors, it could be really hard to find or to source a new tube. Like for the 1084s, for example, is not that easy. So be really careful with that. Other than this, just have fun and do it. So that's the first video. I'm going to upload more videos as the work goes. Okay. Thank you and see you guys soon.